Hey everyone, welcome to or welcome back to Noras Cove. Here at the Cove, we like to budget and plan in confidence. We also like to minimal plan here, but as promised, I'm back with a budget video. And I believe it was my last video. I was showing you guys how I plan to pay my bills, and I had color coded everything, but somewhere over here, yeah, I put breaks. So I knew I was going to need breaks. My goal was to get them last week, which was the, am I correct? No, the 12th to the 17th, which I kind of did because I saved the money up for them. Excuse me. So that threw off the half and half. But I did put $200 in my Ally account for, part of my car note. So that's kind of helpful. And I did that on a Monday, and I wanted to do a transfer today, but I had to get these breaks. So let's see what got paid and what didn't get paid. So I tested out a new budget insert. I've transferred stuff over, and I may need to pause to see how much I had rolled over, so that way we get some correct amount. So this was a new budget sheet I was practicing with, but I ended up making some changes because I realized there was no budgeted amount and then the actual amount. So let's just kind of go through it, and I did it kind of twice because I started with this one and then just checked things off as I did them. But let's come over here. So we didn't do half of State Farm, so we're going to cross that out. We put $200 towards Ally, but let's talk about the totals here, and I'm gonna zoom in just a little bit so you guys can see. So we guesstimate $1,200. That's what it's looking like for every week, unless I can kind of foresee it's not going to be. So I kind of foresaw that it was going to be at least $1,200. I was like, that is my minimum goal that I need to make to get some of this stuff done. So we end up making $1,420. In nails, I put down 100. I'm doing roughly 2 to 3 nail clients a week. I had stopped doing a few because of my trigger finger, so I lost roughly about $400, which is fine. I'm cool with it. But right now I'm just slow walking. I'm not gonna reintroduce those clients back for some time now. But needless to say, we guesstimated 100 and we made $157.50. I don't really need to put this 50, but it's there. Oh. In NoCo, which is Noras Cove, I knew that I was going to get paid this week, so that was $25.77. I just had one order, and rollover was $830, which, is this the correct read? $830. Oh yeah, because we had to pay the car note. Yeah, so the rollover was $830. This is what I had left over from the week before, and so our total was $2,433.27. So we paid Ally the first on Monday. That Tuesday we paid Navy Federal Credit Union of $30. I only have to pay them $20, but I gave them $30. And then I was going to do half of Ally, but I sent them $200. And I should have just probably sent them the $375, but I sent them $200, and I was going to, because I got a little egregious, I was like, oh yeah, let's just send them the money. But it took so long for them to get the money. I was like, oh no, let me just make sure I ain't make a mistake here and make sure this is going to show up. So I just sent $200. I didn't do State Farm because that went towards my breaks. And then of course I did booth rent. But as you can see in my spending tracker, this is what I spent each day. This is what's going to help me kind of budget out at the end of the month. Just little things, miscellaneous things. I went over my little $150 budget I gave myself, but that is fine because there was no eating out. So this wasn't, it was probably grocery, just little miscellaneous things. But what I did was I took the sticky note and I just drew a line here so that I could put what I made each day. That way I could see if I was spending out of what I was making or more than what I was making. On this day, that's the day I paid my car note, and I sent $200 to Ally. So I knew I was going to be above what I made. Excuse me. And then on this day, nothing, $20. The least amount I spent this week was $20. And then on, oh, excuse me. I think I got this backwards. Oh yeah, I did make $20 days. That was NoCo. And then what I did was I have a loan through them through my Shopify site. So they took their money. So that was fine. And that left me pretty much with 20. But I wanted to add that in here because this is a part of that. So anyway, and at the end of the week when I did my totals, I was still missing about $13. But I'm saying it's savings because I've just been stuffing money into an envelope. I mean, into one of my little cash bank bags that we got through one of the boxes and at work, and I just throw cash in every day. If it's a 5, it's mainly 1s and 5s, but I do have probably a 10 or 2 in there. So that was last week. The expense that rolls really over to this week. We did gas, I think. All that is in here. And so I just want to show those numbers before we start on this week. And all of this right here will come out in my, what is it? Lord have mercy. Budget breakdown. My budget closeout. Okay. So we'll have even numbers then. And then what I do at the end of the day is I transfer what I've spent. I have the sticky note here. So whatever I've spent, here it is. I just have to go back in color code so I can see where the money's going. But this exact same thing is in my CP Petite. But let's get into this week's budget. And if I'm correct, so I redid these pages here. I'm testing them out before I put them on the website for a digital download. But this is the week of the 19th through the 25th. So let's start with rollover. And I may have to pause to see what my rollover was. I got a calculator right here. Hold on. So I started this morning with 98.17 plus I had 40 in, so it was 138.17. And did I have some money? And I did have $20. I had 2 10s. Jesus Christ. I think it's 20. So 158.17. 158.17. And I'll double check that number and I'll come back and do that. For hair, let's go again. Let's go for 1,200. And then for nails, I do know I just did some nails today. I have a nail client other nail clients this week. So let's go for 100 again. And then we'll leave that. Oh, we got Noras Cove. And I can kind of see, I'll just put 84. All right, and we'll get the actual numbers. So let's start with our bills due. Our bills due this week. So let's go to our monthly. All right, so this week is the 19th through the 25th. We have T-Mobile. We're supposed to do the full thing, and I was supposed to have half, which I do have half here that's left over. So that's due on the 21st, but let's do the 20th. Acuity, which is my booking site, I think it's $21. I'm not sure. And then on the 21st, we have T-Mobile. But what I'm going to do, and I know I'll be able to pay T-Mobile probably, I did it, yeah, for this week. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pay myself, which is send money to my savings account and send money to part of my car note. And I'll pay T-Mobile on Wednesday. And it's $241.98. And then next thing up, we have our booth rent, the 24th. That's $300, or suite rent. And then I'm supposed to be giving a girls trip. I'm just holding on to the money. It's in my savings, but I'm gonna do girls trip 50. And then I'm supposed to do $375 for Ally and $300 for State Farm. Because State Farm comes out next week. So at least we're supposed to have it for next week. But I have a little grace period I play with. So we'll talk about that later. So I'm going to still put this down because we want it to happen. Have Ally. It's $375 and have State Farm, because what could happen is like I'm gonna send over like $175 for Ally because I have 2 in there. And so this week I could do the $375, I could do the $300, and then my little grace period here, I'll probably put $300 with State Farm, and that way they get paid. So that's what we have as far as bills, expenses, breaks. So now I'm building up me a car maintenance fund. I have $5 in there right now. It's in my Capital One account. We spent $560.43. And what else? I got gas. That's coming out today. I mean, that's coming out. Gas, I just put 25 in there, but I'm going to make it 60. So already I can see this is $620.43. All right, let's do some math. And then for my envelopes, I'm going to do, this really should be an envelope, but I'm going to do Tanya, which is my sister. She's getting 25. I said girls trip. I can move that over to an envelope. But I'm going to just, yeah, let me just move them. Girls trip. Get 50. And it's another envelope. I made a list of envelopes, but I'll fill this in later. Those are the 2 things that I'm working on right now. The top, oh, anniversary. My 20-year anniversary is in August, and I want to put some money aside for that. I'm going to put 50. All right, let's do some math here. I'm going to start here with what our income would be. So we have 1542. I'm just going to take off that 17 cent. And then let's calculate this. This comes to 36, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, 1335. Okay. And then what we have remaining from the 1542 is $207. Wait a minute. You know what? I have more than $158. I forgot. So back up. See, I done messed this up already. I had 500 saved. Yeah. So there's 658. Sorry. We got to do this. So we got to add 600 to this. So that would be 1542 plus 600. That's what I had. So 21. Okay, sorry about that. So 2142 subtract the 1335. Because I was like, hold up. $807 is what we have left. Minus 620. I'm taking the change off. 187. So I should have had a remaining. Now I'm looking to see. I need to make a remaining 187. I don't. 187 subtract. We have, this is 125. $62. Yeah. And I'm feeling like I'm off somewhere. I'm going to really do the math. And we'll see what the problem was. We'll see. We have supposedly $62 left. That's going to go into a savings account. I'm trying to see which one. Let's just put it in savings because I have a bunch of these savings. I may put it in my Vanguard or I may invest. And I want this investment, which is SCHD. So I might just put investment. Or just a savings. I'll put the whole 62. And then we're at 0. And that's how you balance, get a zero budget with income that you don't know. So here at the bottom, at the end of the week, you'll put your total income minus the total amount of bills, expenses, envelope, savings, and then what you have left over. So let's see how this week go. But I'm going to study this when I get off with you guys. I'm just going to kind of go over this and make sure I got this right, because I try to write everything down. Like at the end of the night, I have a whole system. I calculate my expenses that I've spent that week. Anything, y'all, and that's the thing, I'm a stickler. Like, I put everything. When I'm at work, I bring my planners with me now, and what I do is, as soon as I throw cash in that little envelope, I write it down. Anything, everything, I write it down. If I have a service fee of 90 cents, I write it down. I went to the grocery store one day just to get chips so I could get cash back. It was 50 cents. I write it down. So I didn't know where the mix-up came in at, but I'm gonna double check this number. So yeah, we basically had 600. If not, I'm gonna wipe that out just to double check. I'm gonna double check my numbers. And see, I didn't want my today money to get mixed up, and I didn't want to transfer any money to, oh, I need to transfer 175. See, yeah, but for right now, we're going to go with this. We'll know the actuality of it next week. But this is me being back, showing you guys my real numbers. We do real numbers over here. There are no fake numbers. And this is my real life, me trying to manage a inconsistent income. So if you're new here, I would love to have you here. And just join along as I pay down debt, pay up these bills, catch up these bills, and see how I work this out. But that is it for today, you guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. I hope that you learned something. And if so, please let me know in the comments section. Also, if today was your first time watching any of my videos and you enjoyed today's video, or you'd like to just see more, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Also, hit that notification bell. Come back for more so that we can continue along this journey, okay? And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. Okay, y'all, I had to come back to show you that the math was not mathing. So, with the 6, this is 658. I need to make that 658. 658, everything total is $2,042. And then the remaining is $707. And then over here, I did brakes. I probably won't get this much gas, but I just still left that. And then I put down paper for Noras Cove. Noras Cove needs paper. Noras Cove need paper. And then the reason I didn't fill it in is because actually this 84 should probably go into my business budget, but I'll get it out of here somehow. It doesn't matter. And let's see. And the paper is just for me, so that's personal, really. And then I took off my sister out of my envelopes, and I just put girls trip 50. And then that left us with $87. So now here I put investment 87, but it's really not going to be an investment. It's just going into a savings account, and actually my emergency fund. So what will be left will be in the emergency fund. All right, that is it. I just wanted to clear that up because clearly my math wasn't mathing. All right, that's it.